What's going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. Today we are out here with the Bantam 3D printed no foams. So these are not standard open cell foam or closed cell foam. These are a 3D printed insert that go inside your tires. And the idea here is that the tires end up super soft vertically, but then side hilling, they resist rolling over on the sidewalls. So we're gonna run this truck around some rocks today and see what kind of effects we see from these tire foams being put in different pinches and different angles, and trying to see what this thing can do. Oh, man, this is always a tough call. Got that Vanquish dig in here trying to put in some work. I did do the UC Fab flat skid on this car, along with UC Fab, UC Fab flat skid on this car, axial 3-gear transmission, which I went with Vanquish metal 3-gear transmission. Oh, and then I also put the Hertz Dig V3 on here. So this is an ugly, ugly obstacle. You got two big ledges on the left side, taller than the tires are, and the cage starts hitting over there, and it's an overhang on both approaches. So as you start to climb the rears up, the right rear drops in a hole. You got to stay balanced, but wiggle your way through. This is certainly not an easy obstacle. But the things we're looking for is sidewall roll, and so throwing it in a pinch like this is going to put a lot of pressure on your tires to roll over, and these are not doing that. There we go. I love how much gearing reduction I get with this 3-gear transmission. That's almost it. Come on, car. Yeah, so you can see the foam grabbing right there. All right, we made it up the first ledge. Or I guess the second ledge with the top tires. So I want to get back down. So now I just need to navigate through this overhang with the rear. I'm going to try and push the whole car that direction. And then just let that rear climb up, and she's out. So big ugly obstacle for sure. Good way to get this thing going. Let's go try this thing out on some side hills. All right, so the original foams that I had in this came with the Proline Predator tires, and the Predator foams are extremely soft and they do not fight side rolling at all. So we're gonna do something really tough here. We're gonna come downhill and then do like a 90-degree turn through here. So you can see that front right tire, I guess left screen, it's just not rolling. So like with all the pressure of the car there, the tire itself is kind of wrapping around those no foams, but it's not, like the tire is still square on the bottom. So these things are absolutely doing their job. I'm actually gonna kick some rear steer down. Well, but I mean, the tire is holding its shape. It's doing what it's supposed to do. The suspension and stuff isn't, though. Let's try a dig reverse. Oh yeah, she settled down. Nice, that's all we needed to just get the suspension settled. So now let's just run the opposite line there. So we're side hilled out. The rear tire is bulging because it's got some weight on it. So it's still squishing vertically, but it's not side hilling. I guess it's not, the sidewall is not rolling over on itself. So you can watch that front sidewall there. I'm pushing into it, the tire's holding its shape. These things are doing really awesome. But they're still soft, so these tires can get good bite and grab on. Look at the inside of the sidewall there. Yeah, this is the kind of performance I want out of some 3D foams. Or 3D not foams. It's always funny to describe to people because it's like, you're like, oh yeah, I got new foams for my car, but they're not foam. So let's get this thing on some vertical climbs, and I'll show you guys how these things are still soft and able to bite. All right, so generally I try and not get too many shadows in the shots, but I'm trying to get like good tight shots at the tires here. So got this little ledge up top, the rear axle's diffing out. So what we're really looking for here is the tire to be able to squish vertically towards the axle of the car, but then not side roll. So like this front tire right here, you can see is squishing towards the inside of that tread, which is good. That's allowing that tread to bite on there. And then the sidewall doesn't roll, so you can actually use that as a way to grab onto stuff. So see how the tread finally started to squish once the middle of the tread got there, but the shoulder and the sidewall of the tire doesn't roll at all. So as we work our way up, we're gonna hit a little bit of an overhang on that other tire. The center of the tread pushes in, gets a good bite, and pops up just like we want. And then one more time, we can watch these rear tire. So as the rear comes up, see how like I can lean into it and it moves the whole car. The tire doesn't like move a whole lot. So what we're gonna do is back up, and I'm gonna use that to my advantage to keep the tire shaped to help the tread fight into that rock. The center of the tread squishes and pulls the car up. Look at those crawler lugs grabbing on. Gotta love the axe's ability to just creep and crawl like this. We're on our front suspension links here. That's what's holding us up. You can see that drive shaft in there on the rock. Metal links grabbing on. There we go, just wiggle your way out. So look at the way this rear tire doesn't roll sideways, but the middle of the tread squishes. It's perfect, that's exactly what we want. Here we go again. Getting a good amount of squish there because there's a lot of pressure on it. I think we're about to roll because I was just mainly focused on recording those bits. And sometimes I'm right. So I was able to force my MOA up this the other day. And V-notches are definitely something I run a lot. So these tires are really good to help the shoulder lugs of the tires bite on here. Use a little dig, settle that front down. And I'm gonna use that rear steer to push into the wall, get it to climb up. Lean it over on the sides of the tires. So you can see these tires hold their shape. Like I keep saying, you kind of want to reiterate it. So I'll stop saying that now. But wiggle the rears, use the front sidewall, pull the car up. Now this car does have overdrive in it as well as the dig unit. So most of the time, or all of the time, it's got some amount of overdrive. Use the rear to push over into this pocket on the wall. They're spinning, but the fronts are moving up on the wall, which is what I wanted it to do. So there's a lot of zigzagging on this wall because it is not even. So we got a big pocket on the left side, so we're going to turn down into that pocket to keep the rear axle level so that it doesn't keep climbing way up on the wall and try and throw the car over. So now that we've reached the ledge, now we want to turn back into the wall, which is going to pinch those rear tires really hard, and hopefully it's going to force them to get traction and push the car up here. And then once we get that sidewall in there, because of these knot foams, we can turn into it, the tire holds its shape, and we can force the traction into these tires. So here we go. Now the front's coming up a really big ledge. We can use all 4 tires to try and force the car in that direction. I'm in about half as much on the rear as I am with the front. I'm actually straightening the rear right now. You can see those squishing because of the weight of the car sitting on it. Okay, now it's getting real steep. Now I'm using the rear steer to try and change the pressure on the car. Our front tire's floating. Damn, that was close. Now one thing I want to mention on these is that I do run a strip of lead stick-on wheel weights on the rings of my front wheels, and these knot foams stretch right over them. And they've got like some grooves towards the middle, so they actually grab on and they don't rotate inside or anything. Well, I can certainly say right now, guys, if you have stock single-stage open cell foams in your car, these are 100% an upgrade. They will increase performance on your car. I'm confident in saying that. Trying to get this rear moved over before the front drops off. Because they side hill better, they climb better, they're soft, but they still hold the shape of the tire when you need it to. You can use it to your advantage by being able to lean the tire into the sidewall. And even with any rig, just the front steering, you can do that on ledges and whatnot. The rear steer just adds a second level of being able to show that. Apparently I'm just flexed out on a bunch of nothing up here. There she goes. But yeah, so far, man, these Bantam knot foams, really stoked on them. Definitely gonna leave a link below. It is not an affiliate link, so if you guys wanna check them out, go ahead and do that. Like I said, they sent them over my way, so this is just a thank you for sending them over. I'm making a video and showing what they're capable of. Front tire not rolling at all. Rear tire squished up, but that's all right. Got the car steep. Yep, be able to grab onto these ledges, lips and whatnot. You hear those tires fighting. There it goes. I was about to move so I could see a better advantage point. Got that UC Fab flat skid, giving us the extra clearance definitely needed right there. And then on top of that, the UC Fab also has carbon fiber side plates that adjust your upper link mounts as well. So you're not changing the link geometry on the Capra. It adjusts all of your links to a higher mounting point along with the flat skid. So higher clearance, definitely a good way to go. That rear tire is getting a little twisted up there. So what's happening is when I'm turning the tire, the whole tire is actually moving around on the ring of the wheel, and that's why it looks like it's twisted. I've never been able to crawl this. Usually this is a bump and hope for traction. So let's get lined up. We're where we need to be. Okay, that's where we want it. Just give it a nice little throttle and hope it sticks. Well, it was a soft landing. Yeah. They look more like real tires in the way they react. And if you guys don't know, I have a little bit of experience watching the real ones. Rear steer buggies out here, spotting for Supercrawl and Wee Rock competitions, 42-inch BFG reds on just about every car in all competitions. So I've seen those put in work before. Coming downhill, that tire's squished out. You can see the sidewall there. It's not rolling, it's just squished. But man, I love the gearing reduction from this 3-gear Vanquish transmission. You can see the spur gear just chugging along in there. Makes these Capras creep. UC Fab gives you a little more clearance. And that's what allows me to mount that transmission in there. So I got the Vanquish dig unit in there, which works better than the stock Capra transmission. Gears the truck down. So I've got a higher KV system. So I still get some wheel speed, it's not fast. Got a 2800 axe in this. Look at those tires. Coming downhill on an angle, trying to turn and climb a ledge, and they just never lose shape. They just squish vertically and pop up. Makes the truck predictable, and that's what you're looking for. It also allows the truck to turn better coming down hills. So that's a huge advantage too. Just more control on this car. So I think we're ready to wrap it up on this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the examples. There's definitely some good close-up shots on this video for sure. Whoops. So if you guys want to check them out, Bantam Engineering, Bantam Shop on eBay, get over there, check them out. I will leave a link down in the description. Probably post a comment with a pin on it. Probably pin a comment with a link to Bantam in there. So you can check them out for yourself. Like I said, they're priced really well, because I know that 3D printing is not fast. So the fact that he's offering a whole set for the price that he is, I think is a pretty damn good deal, especially when you go out and compare it to dual stage foams. These are quite a bit different in price, so check them out. Keep the rubber side down, guys.